Welcome to part one of Perfectly Adequate. Today we're going to look at how we can turn your hotel from perfectly adequate to wow. Because let's face it, no one leaves a 5-star review about a perfectly adequate hotel. My name is Tammy and I run a company called Revenue. We work with hotels across Australia and New Zealand in the area of revenue, sales, marketing and distribution. We are all about helping you increase your profit. We are all about making sure there is more money in your bank account at the end of the month. So to understand how we are going to turn your hotel from perfectly adequate to wow, we need to understand what your customers need. And to be perfectly honest, it's only 3 things. They need a bed, a shower and Wi-Fi. So they need somewhere to sleep, somewhere to freshen up and somewhere to get online. And actually, Wi-Fi is not always that important because we have data on our phones. So a bed, a shower and Wi-Fi. Those are the 3 most basic things a customer needs. Your responsibility as a hotelier is to ensure that you sell those 3 things at a profit. You need to make sure you are meeting those 3 needs in such a way that you are making money and that your customers are going away and raving to their friends and families, their colleagues, because word of mouth marketing is far more profitable than any paid advertising you may consider doing. How are you going to stand out in a very crowded market? Everybody can deliver a bed, a shower and Wi-Fi, but how are you going to stand out? If you go onto booking.com in any town on any given day, you will find between 5 and 50 odd listings for a regional town in Australia. It goes up to about 800 listings for something like Sydney or Melbourne. So how are you going to stand out in that very crowded market? We talk in averages on booking.com. We say that between 3 and 7% of people will make a booking. So for every 100 people that look at your listing, you are only going to get 3 to 7 bookings. So if you are trying to fill a 30-room property for 365 days of the year, that is a lot of people you need to be looking at your listing. That is a lot of people you need to click on the first photo that you have loaded for your property. And bearing in mind that people are only buying a bed, a shower and Wi-Fi, why are you listing a photo of a concrete car park? To understand how we are going to stand out, we need to understand the booking journey. So people will go through the 4 stages of booking. So they will start with the dreaming and planning. That's when they sit down on the couch at night and realize they haven't booked their accommodation for their business trip next week. That was back in 2019. Or they're sitting there at night having a drink and dreaming of getting out of lockdown and dreaming about where they want to go. They will pick up their phone and they will start scrolling. They are looking for inspiration. They are looking for someone who is going to feed them information that is going to make them want to book. When they head to the shopping and booking stage, they are getting their credit card out. They have narrowed down their selection and they have a destination in mind. Now they are reading reviews and they are narrowing it down even further, and they will be going from the OTA to your direct website where they're looking for more information and more inspiration. Then they will make a booking. The trip starts when they get their bag out of the cupboard, and it goes right through to when that bag goes back in the cupboard. It includes everything about the journey to and from the hotel, their stay in the hotel, and the experience they have in the destination. They will be sharing real-time updates with their friends, and they will be using their mobile phone to research things to do in the local area. Post-trip is when they are back home. It is when they are writing a review and they are sharing memories on social media, or they are talking to their friends and family, or they're talking to other people at work, or people at the school gate. So post-trip is not a time to forget your customers. So to be chosen, how are you going to do that? If there are between 3 and 50 properties in your town, if you're in Sydney or Melbourne and there's 800 properties, how are you going to be chosen? I have a question for you. Back in 1982, if you were in business, every year the Yellow Pages would send you an invoice, and that invoice would ask you if you wanted to renew your quarter page, half page, or whole page ad. When you received this invoice, did you ever say, nope, I'm not paying that invoice. I don't like the Yellow Pages. I am not re-enrolling in the Yellow Pages. I don't like how they work. Nope, I'm not. Or did you pay that invoice every year because you knew that was where your customers went to find you? You knew the Yellow Pages was your billboard. You knew that the Yellow Pages was how you attracted customers to your hotel. Well, guess what? Booking.com and Expedia are the Yellow Pages of today. And if you don't advertise there, how are customers going to find you? Every year, SiteMinder, the biggest channel manager in Australia, puts out a list of the top 12 channels. They analyse all the data going through their system on a daily basis, and they determine who are the top 12 channels, and they tell you. You need to get a hold of that list, and you need to review it every year and say, am I listed on the appropriate channels for me? If you're a motel in regional Australia, maybe you're not going to be on Airbnb. If you're in South Australia, maybe you're not going to be on Lido HRS because no Queensland government comes to you. You need to look at this list and work it out. You also need to make sure you've got your Google My Business, you own your meta search sites, and of course all the other things like phone and chat and email. Because guess what? Nothing in life is free. And if you want your customers to book you, you need to be where they are. There's an old saying, fish where the fish are. Now, the OTAs have made it incredibly simple for you to know how to optimize your listing. The OTAs are very, very good at digital marketing, and they have worked out, according to their statistics and data and by monitoring customer behavior, that there are certain things that will help you be chosen. They call this a content score, and they have weighted it in order. So they have determined that photos are one of the most important things. So you need to go and get that professional photo shoot done. They have determined that amenities and policies and deposit descriptions, etc., are the most important things. You need to make sure your content score is 100%. If it's not, you are already shooting yourself in the foot and making it harder for you to be chosen. You need to make sure that everything is set up for ease of decision making. So when I say that, your room type names need to not be the Superior Deluxe Executive Suite. That doesn't really tell a customer what they're buying. Whereas the Queen Room with kitchenette, that tells a customer exactly what they're buying. And it highlights the USP, the unique selling point in the name. This principle applies to rate plans as well. You don't sell a direct rate. You don't sell a nightly rate. You sell room only, free breakfast, or stay 3 and save 20%. Tell customers what they need to know in the title. You need to make sure everything's mapped. You need to use the promotions tab. You don't need to put a promotion on every room type or every rate plan, but use promotions in a bait and switch sort of way. Get people looking by loading promotions on your least popular room types. And of course, make sure you've got good photos. Your website. When customers are on the booking journey, they're dreaming and planning, they're going to the OTAs, then they're hopping over to your website for more information, and then they're going back to the OTAs to book. Now, while they're on your website, you need to make it user-friendly. You need to make sure your website has all the information that customers need. Now, Google will rank your website according to whether it has recent and relevant content. So I ask you, when was the last time you updated your website? It could be that you overhauled the whole entire thing and got a new website. Or it could be that you changed a photo or some wording or a promotion. But when did you last do that? If you don't know, it's time that you did. You can audit your website. If you go into Google and type in free website audit, you will be presented with hundreds of options. I quite like WooRank or Supple. This will check the architecture, the build of your website. Not whether your photos are pretty, but whether your website is built according to Google requirements. It will make sure that your website is built to rank. You need a score of around 70%. Anything below 50% and it's probably time to panic. Does your website have backlinks? That's where your website connects to another reputable website, because the more backlinks you have, the higher Google will rank your website, because it goes, ooh, that's an important website. What about the user experience? How easy is it to use your website? When you go to the top right-hand corner, do you find a book button? Or does a customer have to trawl all over the website trying to find it? Does the Contact Us page have a phone number, an email, and your address details? These things have conventions for a reason, because people go and look in the same place each time. Is your website mobile friendly? So have you tested your website on a mobile phone, on a tablet, and on a desktop? Go incognito and see what the customer sees. Now, part 2 will be loaded separately, and we're going to look at that in a moment. See you over there.